After one of the biggest nights in the history of the WWE, what now is in store as we head to Sin City and Money in the Bank? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our very special We Love It Raw. This is your Extreme Rules and Monday Night Raw reviews. Now, unlike other shows, ladies and gentlemen, where I do one for Monday Night Raw and one for a WWE pay-per-view, I'm going to try to do something different. I am going to give you both an Extreme Rules and Monday Night Raw review at the same exact time. It's time to shake things up with the show. And we're going to start, ladies and gentlemen, with the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns and AJ Styles. What they did Sunday at Extreme Rules was incredible. They put their bodies on the line, their lives on the line, their careers on the line. They stopped at nothing to destroy each other to become or remain the WWE Champion. And the carnage was the factor. I mean, tables were broken, heads were hit against boards, anything, you name it, they did it. And I do admit, great match. Not one of the best of the night, but it was a great match in which Roman Reigns did prevail. So with Roman Reigns now celebrating in the middle of the ring, who comes back? None other than, ladies and gentlemen, Seth fucking Rollins. It has been 7 months since Seth Rollins made his return to WWE because of the injury, and he made an emphatic statement. He set his sights on the WWE Championship that he never lost. And he gave Roman Reigns the pedigree to close out Extreme Rules on Sunday. So now we're leading into Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins comes out, huge ovation, big pop. And he says, it's been over 200 days, 7 months, since he's been in the middle of the WWE ring, which is his ring. And he says one thing. He's after the belt that is still his. Technically, he is correct. But Roman comes out on Raw, and he's not one bit happy. He's all but upset. And he wanted a fight. But Shane said no. Shane comes out and says, we're saving this for Money in the Bank. And he made it official on Raw. Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. So with Rollins and Reigns now set, who's going to prevail? Is it Rollins or is it Reigns? Let us know. If you think Roman Reigns is going to prevail, use the hashtag Roman Empire. If you think Seth Rollins is going to prevail, use the hashtag Architect. Voting is now open. Let's see who you, our fans, our viewers, our loyal listeners, have to say. So with that announcement now out of the way, let's shift our attention back to Sunday at Extreme Rules. Fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Miz, Cesaro, Owens, Zayn. By far one of the best matches I've ever seen in WWE history. That fatal 4-way match really stole the show. Behind the WWE Championship. And Miz did come out and did prevail He had a very slim chance, but he did prevail. So now we're going to shift our attention back to Monday Night Raw. Miz is in a match. And he's going against, ladies and gentlemen, Cesaro. And Miz is a former Money in the Bank winner. Cesaro is not. And these two go at it. They fight and fight. And they deal blows after blows, hits after hits, move after move. But in the end, it was Cesaro who locked his shot at the Money in the Bank ladder match in 4 weeks' time. So with now Cesaro in the match, who's going to be the next competitor to join him in this match? Let's now go back to Extreme Rules. Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho. The first ever Asylum match. And this was unique. It was a cage match, but it had weapons on top. And Jericho and Ambrose really put it to themselves. Okay? Almost every weapon on that cage, or I'm sorry, Asylum, was used. But the big blow was the thumbtacks, in which Chris Jericho got full wind of, which then ended up him losing the match to Dean Ambrose at Extreme Rules. So now let's go back on to Monday Night Raw here. And we're going to talk about Dean Ambrose. He went off against former Money in the Bank winner Dolph Ziggler. And while these two know each other, Ziggler and Ambrose, it was Ambrose who locked himself into this match. So now we have two. Who's next? I'm glad I asked. Let's stay on Monday Night Raw with Chris Jericho. He's going against the upstart Apollo Crews from NXT. He's part of the new era in the WWE. And it was advantage Chris Jericho. Yes, Apollo Crews had a couple of his moments, but it was Chris Jericho who made Apollo Crews tap, thus giving Chris Jericho the secured opportunity to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So we have a few matches already in the books. Cesaro, Ambrose, and Jericho. 3 out of the 5 men right now are locked in. Who's next? I'm glad I said this again, because now we're going to talk about Sami Zayn, who was part of that fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules Sunday. And he was put to the test again on Monday Night Raw with another former Money in the Bank winner and a former WWE World Champion in his mind from last year, Sheamus. And this was a very, very good match. But Sheamus lost and Sami prevailed. So now we got 4 out of 5 in this ladder match. Who's the last to get it? We're going to stay with Raw now again and talk about 2 men who went through hell. AJ Styles, who went through hell with Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens, who went through hell in the Fatal 4-Way. Now this is a battle of firsts. None of these individuals were part of the Money in the Bank briefcase at all in their career. So one's going to be a lucky guy and one's going to be disappointed. And it was Kevin Owens who earned his shot. I really thought it was going to be AJ, but I guess they had plans of their own. WWE does for AJ, so Kevin Owens is in this match. So there's your first 5, ladies and gentlemen, in the Money in the Bank briefcase. Ambrose, Jericho, Cesaro, Zayn, and now Kevin Owens. Who's going to join them? We have 2 more qualifying matches on SmackDown this Thursday night. Stay tuned to our show next week to find out the complete list for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Because one man is going to have the chance of a lifetime to make his career skyrocket in the WWE. Now with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's now shift our focus on the women's title match. At Extreme Rules Sunday, it was Charlotte and Natalya in a submissions match without Ric Flair. Now this was going to go show you if Charlotte can win this match, or any match, without the help of her father. While the answer was yes, she did receive some type of assistance from Dana Brooke. And I do admit it was a good match. A little bit of a sleeper, if you may say. But with Dana Brooke being a distraction and a factor out in the match, Charlotte did prevail, thus making Natalya submit. So now what happens on Monday Night Raw? This is where it got interesting, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Really, really interesting. Charlotte comes out, and she says, "Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dana. Without you guys, I wouldn't be where I am today." But here's where it went south. Charlotte then goes on a tirade and says that I can do this by myself. I don't need you around me, Dad, because you were never around me in my entire life. And it really struck Ric Flair, and rightfully so. Because, granted, Rick was never there. Rick was making a name for his legacy, which is also important. So now the question is going to be this. Can Charlotte win without Rick? We're going to find this out at the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank. While Charlotte has no formidable opponent right now, the time is going to come to see if Charlotte is what she says she is. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for further updates regarding that situation. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the tag team division. Sunday at Extreme Rules, we had the New Day and the Vaudevillains. And I have to say, the Vaudevillains really put it to the New Day. The Vaudevillains were inches away from winning the WWE Tag Team titles. But the numbers game did catch up, and thus the numbers game helped the New Day retain the WWE Tag Team titles. So now what happens on Monday Night Raw? New Day is out there, and they make quick work of the Social Outcasts. But here's where it got really, really interesting. Who challenged the New Day for a shot at the WWE Tag Team Champions? The answer is nobody. Because if you think about it, the New Day went through every team that there was in the WWE. But if I had to make a bet about something about this match, about this division and the tag teams in the WWE, I do see one team that has a shot. Enzo and Cass. Now, granted, they have their own problems with the Dudleys, but I do see them in the near future, or even possibly on Money in the Bank, getting a shot at the tag team titles. That should be very interesting to see. And lastly, there's no competitors up there for the Intercontinental title. So if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one title match for Money in the Bank, the WWE title. Now, I'm sure there's going to be more matches out of that at a later time, but right now, if you think about it, one championship match. So far, Money in the Bank, it's looking pretty good. Let's see if they can make this a pay-per-view worth saving. I'm curious. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this new innovative technique that I did in the show with Raw combined with Extreme Rules. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I want to hear what you think. If you think I did a good job with this new innovative show, then use the hashtag KEEP. If you did not like it and want me to go back to the old way the show was, then use the hashtag OldWay. I will tally up your votes and I will make my decision next week on We Love It Raw. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, remember, keep it real and keep it raw. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very special presentation here of We Love It Raw. Monday night after Raw, we had a podcast by Shane McMahon. And I must tell you, it was incredible. Okay? Foley talked to Shane McMahon about what really brought Shane back into WWE. And what I heard was that Shane wanted to secure the vision of the WWE. And Foley then asked him, what do you think about Triple H? How do you feel about Triple H? Is there any animosity? Are you happy that he married your daughter? Or your sister, I mean. Are you happy about that? What do you think about your father? Is there a strange relationship with your father? And Shane said, no. I have no problem with her marrying Stephanie. If Stephanie's happy, I got no problem. When it comes to my father, Vince McMahon, I've got no problem. Shane then went into his lifestyle, his childhood, and it was really good. I really thought it was interesting, and I really thought it was intriguing. All right. I'm not going to give too much away, but that's some of the brief points of the podcast. If you want more of the podcast, I suggest you go onto the WWE Network and listen to it, because it was really, really interesting. I really liked it, and I know you will too. Let us know. I want to know what you thought about this podcast, okay? I'm trying to get more interactions into the show, because lately interaction on the show has been very, very scarce. So, if you like this podcast, tell us what was your favorite part of the podcast. What made you really want to watch the podcast? I'm trying to get more interactions into the show, so let us know what you think. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, keep it real and keep it raw. And remember, family, it always